Good morning, South African wine lovers. Welcome to our live stream. And today we are really in a celebration mode. And the reason why we are in a celebration mode is because we're looking forward to spring, but we're also looking forward to the 1st of September, which is Cap Classic Day. So you'll see there on the picture, there's a picture of the Graham Beck bubbly on your screen at the moment. And we are going to really celebrate Cap Classic and our MCCs. So we want everybody to, if you are actually drinking an MCC or have pictures of it, please share in the group with hashtag Cap Classic Day. Also, you can find all the MCCs listed on your page, um, bit.ly /find MCC. That is bit.ly find MCC. So really, we're setting up for MCC Day on the 1st of September. We are actually at the moment busy setting up. I'm going to interview a whole bunch of our 6 of our major MCC producers. So that is going to absolutely fantastic. Um, uh, there will be 6 podcasts published on the day, on the 1st of September. And we want everybody to please take part in this. If you are looking to buy your loved one a bunch of flowers for Spring Day, why don't add a bottle of MCC? Why don't add a bottle of this lovely Graham Beck bubbly? That would be fantastic, right? I think, you know, your loved one will be impressed. So please celebrate MCC Day with us. Cap Classic Day, hashtag Cap Classic Day. We're doing this in collaboration with the Cap Classic Association. So we'd love everybody to please participate. Lots of announcements coming in this regard. Like I said, I'm doing podcasts with the top 6 MCC, or 6 of the top producers of Cape Bubbly in the country, and they will all be published on the 1st of September. But now, um, our other campaign that we're busy with is the hashtag 60 and 60 campaign. And we are so thankful for everyone that's taken part. But let me give you a bit of explanation what the 60 and 60 campaign is for those that have not joined yet. So we will be featuring one South African producer a day for 60 days, from the 30th of August until the 28th of October. And we want everyone to please use the hashtag 60 in 60. So actually, we want you to use 3 hashtags for this campaign: hashtag 60 in 60, hashtag Save SA Wine, and hashtag Drink South African. We really need your help with this, and here's why. Due to South Africans, sorry, due to the recent prohibition in South Africa, Vinpro estimates that over 90% of our wineries are in trouble. The entire wine industry could lose more than 50% of our wineries, 12.6% of grape growers, and that is more than 18,000 jobs that are in danger over the next 18 months. That is a massive amount of people without work. Um, Wine tourism has already faced a loss of 2.5 billion rand in revenue between March and July 2020. Um, and furthermore, the wine industry is sitting on a 300 million litre surplus, with the harvest coming up shortly, and this is a disaster for the industry. Um, yes, the domestic ban was lifted on the 18th of August, but we had 5 months of damage in this industry. Just think of that, 5 months of zero business in the wine industry. And this is just putting the nail in the coffin for many wine producers. So we need everyone that can to please help us. Um, Please support the campaign. Uh, Repost these images. Use the hashtag 60 in 60. We really need you to support it. Use the hashtag SaveSAWine and use the hashtag Drink South African. We also need you guys to go like us on Instagram. Lots of people left comments yesterday. Thank you for that. But go comment on Instagram at www.instagram.com/savesawine.co.za. That's instagram.com/savesawine.co.za. And then, I just have to say another huge thank you to everyone in this, for of our members in our group. We are on 54,000 members plus, and if every single person just goes out and invite 2 more people, we will have over 100,000 people. So please go do that. Go invite your friends, go invite your family. We cannot get complacent. We need to keep on building this group. And thank you for everyone that's been taking part in all the campaigns we've been promoting. If you want to find the latest on what's available in terms of SA Wine, go to SA Wine all over the world. We've got a comprehensive list on our webpage at bit.ly/find SA Wine. That's bit.ly/find SA Wine, and you will find wines all over the world, from the East to Europe, to the United States, even to South America. It's all on the list. I'm going to repeat that. That's bit.ly/find SA Wine. And thank you very much. That's my announcements for today. Like I said, the important thing is hashtag Cape Classic Day. Please support us the 1st of September. Bookmark it. Don't forget. Keep your calendar open for that day. We're going to have a lot of things happening on here. Then I just need to say another special thank you to our sponsor, the Fishwives Club. The Fishwives Club still has a 45% off lockdown special. It ends on the 31st of the 31st of August 2020. So that is in 6 days. So guys, if you still want this, you need to jump on and get it. You'll never see this wine at this price again. I've heard from them that they are delivering it straight to your door, free delivery with express courier. So this is amazing. And so that's my announcements for this morning. Please hop on tonight again at 7 o'clock for our evening live stream. And now I'm going to, the featured podcast for today is with one of our famous chefs in South Africa, Liam Tomlin. He's an award-winning chef. He's a founder of Chef's Warehouse in Cape Town. Has a big footprint in the winelands. He's got the Jewels at Spice Route and many other restaurants, Bou Constantia. Very interesting guy to listen to. I spoke to him in the first lockdown, and it's very interesting to get Liam's perspective on the situation in South Africa. And I'm definitely going to do a follow-up interview with him at some stage. But for now, listen to my interview with Liam Tomlin, award-winning chef and founder of the Chef's Warehouse, Cape Town. Welcome to About the Winelands. In this show, we will be chatting to leaders, influencers, wine producers, restaurants, and other role players. Tune in every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for our latest episodes. You will find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to About the Winelands. Today, I'm speaking to Liam Tomlin. He's the owner and founder of Chef's Warehouse. How are you, Liam? Welcome to About the Winelands.
Thanks, Will. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging times we are in, and especially with you being in the restaurant business. So
yeah,
I can believe it must be hard.
It is. It's quite difficult, but we're taking it day by day. There's nothing really else we can do. We're doing our best to hold on to all our staff. Yeah, it's a challenge. It really is.
Liam, how did you tell us a bit to our listeners who would be interested here? How did you get involved in the restaurant and the food industry?
Wow. I started a apprenticeship when I was 14 years of age in Dublin. So I left school very early. I started actually washing pots in a hotel in Dublin, and then it just grew out of there. The chef offered me a position, and I worked as a young chef in Dublin for a few years, and then I went to London and Switzerland, and sort of when I got to Switzerland, the penny sort of dropped for me that I really wanted to be a chef. Before that, I was just doing it as a job to make money. But then when I went to Switzerland, I just, totally fell in love with the career. But
that's amazing.
Hindsight's a great thing. Looking at it now, owning 6 restaurants, probably not the best business to be in. But anyway, no, it's been a brilliant industry to be in. I've had an amazing career so far, and I'm sure we'll continue to have an amazing career once we get back on track after this virus.
I think times will be difficult, but human behavior does not change that quickly. I mean, we've gone through 2 world wars and a lot of other stuff. So let's hope that things will go on its merry way very soon.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you share a bit of history about the Chef's Warehouse brand? I mean, I saw that I saw that after Switzerland, did you go to Australia, if I'm right? And you also won some awards there.
Yeah, I had a restaurant. I moved to Australia. I lived there for 15 years. So I lived in Melbourne for 2 years and then moved to Sydney and lived there for 13 years.
Wow.
And we had several restaurants there, but we had one called Bank, which was, that was the one that sort of put us on the map. We won a lot of awards in Australia for that, which was fantastic. It was an amazing restaurant. And we had it for 6-7 years.
Wow.
It was very cool. It was a great restaurant.
Why did you make you move to South Africa?
Originally, I went to Australia for a year and ended up staying for 15. And that business in Australia, I was in a partnership that went a bit pear-shaped. So I decided I didn't want to stay. I never really originally wanted to go to Australia. So I agreed with my wife to go for a year. And like I said, we stayed for 15. And I decided it was time for a change. And we'd been to South Africa once before and absolutely loved it. And I wanted a lifestyle very similar to what we had in Australia as far as climate and lifestyle and whatever. And we came to Cape Town, and best move ever. Love it here.
Amazing. You sound like that. You sound like a typical South African immigrating to Australia. The lifestyle and the sunshine.
Yeah, you know what they say, the grass is always greener on the other side. But when you get there, you still have to cut the grass. It grows. And, quite honestly, Australia is a wonderful place, but I love it here in South Africa. I really do.
Yeah, what a fantastic country we have.
Yeah.
Can you share a bit of the history of how you started Chef's Warehouse and the brand and,
Chef's Warehouse was originally, it was a cookery school and a retail store for cookbooks and kitchen equipment. And then where Chef's Warehouse now, the original one on Bree Street, that venue came available, and I always loved that space. And we decided to move venues, and it wasn't in the planning. It wasn't to open a restaurant. It was still going to be a cookery school. We were going to expand the deli side of the business and the product range and everything. And then I don't know, we had a few seats and we decided we'd do like a light lunch, and we opened the first day. Second day, I think we were full, and it just the cookery school sort of never happened, and it ended up turning into what it is today. So sort of, it was just purely by moving location. I mean, the location for me, I love that space in the original Bree Street space. And it just grew out of that. And then it became extremely, extremely popular. And we had a whole little menu going on, but we offered part of that menu was tapas for two. We discovered that's all that people were ordering. So we decided to do tapas for two, and that's been the concept ever since.
So where did you get this influence? Because it seems I saw that was a as a kind of a golden thread through your restaurants.
Yeah, it was just when we were in Sydney and we had that restaurant bank, that was very fine dining, very top end, very labor intensive, and it was very French influenced. So you were very sort of restricted in as far as what ingredients you could use and what techniques you could use, etc. So I just, firstly, I like eating the way we serve our food. So lots of different flavors and sharing. So I love that whole concept. And I didn't want to be restricted to, I didn't want it to be like a typical classical Spanish tapas. So, we can go in and we can choose what we want to cook on a daily basis, whether it be Japanese influenced or Asian or Indian or Italian or whatever we want, whatever is available to us as far as ingredients. And it just gives us so much flexibility, keeps it interesting for the guys in the kitchen because they're learning something on a daily basis. And it also keeps it interesting for guests that they're coming back and we're forever changing our menu. I mean, it changes on a daily basis. Not in all our restaurants, but in Bree Street, it changes on a regular basis.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. You also have restaurants in the Winelands. Tell us about
Yeah,
that.
we have three. We've got one, Bo Constantia, up in Constantia. We've got another Chef's Warehouse at Maison in Franschhoek. And then we recently opened a restaurant with Neil and Tina Jewell up on the Spice Root Farm in Paul called Jewels. So yeah, I love the restaurants out in the Winelands. It's just, they're all set in these most beautiful settings. It's just really, really beautiful spaces. I love them. Yeah, I really do. I love the ones in the city, but I also love driving out to the winelands, and it's just a completely different atmosphere. And, we're blessed with some of the most beautiful countryside in the world, I think, when you go to Paarl and Franschhoek and drive up through Constantia Neck. I mean, Cape Town is just such a beautiful city.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and also, you have this advantage almost of a cross sell. If people come to your Bree Street restaurant, you can say to them, go try our restaurant in this place, because then they want to visit those places anyway, and it would be great.
Absolutely. I mean, the tourists will often have people who come to Cape Town from wherever, UK, America, Holland, and they will eat in all 5 restaurants during a week or 10 days. And that's very special to me.
Well, that must make you feel proud, right?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I mean, the great thing about Chef's Warehouse is they're all individual. There's no two the same. We're doing completely different thing. I've got brilliant chef partners, Ivor Jones, Dave Schneider. We've got Nanda Cadasso at Bree Street. I've got JP and Nate up at Tali, and then obviously Neil Jewell. And I mean, they're all very talented young chefs and all very different, but and all brilliant cooks. So everywhere you go is very, very different. So, but you can, there is a common thread through our restaurants.
That's amazing. That's so. What you're telling me is you have a philosophy that is the thread, but it doesn't really feel like a chain.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, it's very important for me. I stepped out of the kitchen. I'm still very involved with the restaurants on a daily basis, but I stepped out of the kitchen a little bit over 2 years ago, maybe a little longer, to focus more on the business side of it and to focus on the opportunities that come our way. And it's very important for me that, it's not Liam Tomlin Chef's Warehouse. Every Chef's Warehouse, whoever works there gets the credit for what they do. Yeah, I founded the brand and the concept, but these guys are the ones who should take all the credit because, like I said, they're very talented individuals.
Well, that's amazing. You also, another fantastic city, of course, is Barcelona, and you ventured into Barcelona. Can you tell us a bit more? That sounds very exciting.
Barcelona is run by two chefs who used to work for us in Bree Street. And one of them, Angelo Scirocco, worked with us for about, I think he was with us for close on 2 years. And he went over to Barcelona to do some work for me with our business partner. And my landlord in Bree Street has hotels just outside Barcelona. And Angelo went over there to do a little bit of work for her to help. And he fell in love with a young Spanish girl, and he phoned me up and he said he didn't want to come back, and he wanted to open a restaurant. And that's how it came about. So I said to him, okay, go find a space. And he honestly walks the streets of Barcelona. He went to college every morning to learn the language. He speaks fluent Spanish now, writes it. Incredible young guy. And he phoned me one day. He says, I found the space, and himself, myself, and my landlord from Bree Street are equal partners in that restaurant. And it's hugely, hugely successful, obviously, until we got undone with this virus. But he'll be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully. And he's a seriously talented guy.
Well, amazing story, right? A love story that ends in a restaurant is something that has to be told until you're old, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's a true story. He fell in love with this young girl, and she's lovely. I've met her. I've been over there. And he said he's staying. So, and he's happy, and he has a European passport, so there was no issues regarding visas or if he could stay or not. So he's very, very happy.
So I see you also have a pantry and a bookshop. So tell us a little bit more about that. I saw somewhere that you wanted to build the biggest cookery bookshop in South Africa or in Africa.
Yeah, that was our plan. I mean, I think we've probably got one of the biggest selections of cookbooks on offer. It's located at Bree Street, and it's part of the retail section of what we do. So we do in both Maison, Bree Street, and in Jules up on the Spice Route, we do retail in the restaurants also. So we sell all food related things and especially cookbooks. But we don't do any of the, the TV stuff, the Jamie Olivers or the Nigellas or anything like that. It's all very much, I'm not saying they're not professional, but we don't do mass market stuff. We do very boutique-y, artisanal cookbooks. So if you're looking for something out of the ordinary, if we don't have it, we'll get it for you.
Interesting. So you've also written your own books. Can you tell us a bit more about those?
I've written 5 books, I think, and I'm in the process now of doing the 6th one. So I've been trying to do it while we've been in closed down during this, but I just can't focus. It's too hard to concentrate on anything at the moment. But I'm doing a book at the moment, which is going to be published by Penguin later this year. And it's basically a book about our 5 restaurants here. And it's a chapter on each of the chefs and their food and their philosophy and all about our, how we operate as a business, each individual chef's philosophy, all about our suppliers, our ingredients, sustainability. So it's a photographic journey through a day in the life of the kitchen. But we've got an amazing young photographer, a lady called Claire Gunn, who used to be a chef herself. So she completely understands the runnings of a kitchen, completely gets food. So it's an absolute pleasure. And it's not your typical book where we stylize everything. Claire just goes in and shoots from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. And she shoots everything as it is, as it's going out to the restaurant, as it's served to the guest, whatever. There's no frilling it up. It's really in your face kitchen stuff, but it's brilliant. It's really, I think it's going to be the best book we've ever done. And then we've got a book. Yeah, it's very exciting. Then we've got another book that's been republished. It's on its 2nd print run now, and it should be, I think it's released in June again through Penguin. And it's called Tapas, and it's based on Bree Street. So we published that about 4 or 5 years ago. So we've redone it. We've put some new dishes in, took some of the old one out, put some new shots in it, etc. So we've sort of refreshed it, republished it. So that should be out hopefully in June.
Okay,
If
awesome.
the bookstores are open, then we'll be out.
Yeah, that's a different story, right? We'll come to that a bit later. What is
Otherwise, I'll
the?
be selling it at the traffic lights.
I'm sure you'll get some buyers. What is the Ginger and Lime's cooking school?
Ginger and Lime is a very dear friend of mine, Denise Levy, and it's she set up a cookery school probably 3 or 4 years ago, and she started it in her home in Fresnay, and I used to do quite a few classes with her. But it's a beautiful space where you can either come and see a chef like myself do cooking demonstrations, or there's lots of other people who come and do demos, or you can hire it out and do hands-on cooking with Denise and her team, or you can hire it as a space just for, if you want to do a work event or a team building event or anything like that. And now she's opened a second one called Kitchen Collective, and that's in the Bocop. So it's a much bigger space. But it's basically, she's not a chef by profession. She's just got a real passion for food, and she just always had a dream of opening up her own cookery school. And she did it a couple of years ago. It's hugely successful. And she's just published her own book, her own cookbook as well, with her favorite recipes from her travels and from her cookery schools.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, she's a very special woman.
Your cooking philosophy, where did that come from, and what is your cooking philosophy?
Quite honestly, you'll get a lot of chefs who say they were cooked with their grandmother or whatever. I none of that. I mean, I was brought up in Ireland. It was very basic food. It was, you knew what you were eating on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It was sort of a very small repertoire. I'm not knocking it, but my mum was a great cook and a great baker, and she cooked for us every single day. We had wonderful food, but it never fascinated me at that age. And like I said, I got into kitchens purely because I wanted to get out of school. I wanted a job. I wanted a bit of pocket money, and it grew on me over the years. But I don't know. I'm probably very old school when I look at the young guys who work with us now. I am quite old school. And I like to keep things pretty simple. My whole philosophy is less is more. I'll look at a dish and I'll look at what I can take off it rather than what I need to add to it.
Yeah. I find our winemakers say the same thing, right? It's all about, the ingredients and letting nature do its work. And, I think with cooking, it's probably the same thing. Like you just wanted to say, the ingredients are so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got such amazing ingredients here. The produce here is as good as anything in the world, anywhere else in the world. We've got amazing little boutique growers and suppliers. We up at the restaurants, we're so lucky we can even forage some beautiful mushrooms and herbs. We're very lucky we've got space where we can grow our own vegetables. We've got beautiful vegetable gardens of our own. So it's very much, we're very seasonal driven. So you won't see Israeli strawberries on our menu. You'll see strawberries when they're grown in South Africa in season. Same with our asparagus. You won't see asparagus from Thailand or wherever. So all our chefs, I think, are very seasonal driven. But for me, yeah, less is more. And it really is. I just hate overcomplicated food. I don't see the point in it. I really don't.
Yeah. So.
And I don't want to eat that type of food.
I agree with you.
To be quite honest.
Just a quick interruption, but I do need to remind you that we are currently in a very difficult time. The South African government has set up a fund where businesses and individuals can donate to support their country through this crisis. Go to the website now and add your small donation: www.solidarityfund.co.za. Please join us all in the fight against COVID-19. That is at www.solidarityfund.co.za. Now, let's get on with the show.
What are the most important traits that a chef should have, do you think?
Wow. You know, it's changed a hell of a lot since I trained in, like, if I look at when I worked in Dublin, London, and I worked in Amsterdam, I worked in Italy, I worked in Switzerland, and we used to, and we still have young chefs who are completely dedicated to this profession. But we used to work 16, 18 hours a day. I used to work for the Roux brothers. I always remember Michel Roux telling me that you couldn't cook good food in 8 hours. And basically that was his way of telling me, you're going to work 16 hours a day, but I'm only going to pay you for 8. But we did that. We did it because, you know, those other 8 hours, even though you didn't get paid for it, it was an education like you get nowhere else. And now with labor laws, especially, I still follow what goes on in Australia a lot because obviously I lived there for 15 years. I've got lots of friends there still. I mean, I don't know how they operate over there. It's a very strict 8 hour a day. And it's true, you can't cook great food in 8 hours a day. You really can't. And it's not feasible to have, in most restaurants, it's not feasible to have 2 shifts a week. We're very lucky. Up till a couple of weeks ago, our restaurants were extremely busy. So we try and work our chefs 4 days a week, so they get 3 days rest. We make sure they eat well. I mean, that never happened when I was working. You know, you were lucky you had a choice, get a 10-minute break or go outside and have a couple of cigarettes. Most of us went outside and had a couple of cigarettes, so you wouldn't eat all day. And when you did, it wasn't very healthy food, but we try and cook a decent meal for all our staff every single day. A lot of them is the only meal they're going to have. But I think it's you've got to have passion for this. And you've got to be completely committed. But I also think it's really important early on in your career is to decide what it is you want out of the career. Do you want to own your own restaurant? Do you want to be the executive chef of a large hotel? Do you want to be the chef on a cruise liner? Do you want to have a catering company? Whatever it is, and then train towards your goal. And especially, you know, young chefs who want to go into business eventually is to learn about business. You know, a lot of fantastic chefs around, and me included, we're not the best business brains. We're cooks at the end of the day. So for me, really, really important that if you do want to go off and set up your own business, whether it's a top-end restaurant, catering company, I don't know, it could be a food truck, whatever, a stall in the market. You need to do the figures. You need to know, you know, you need to be, there's a lot more now. I'm a human resources person. I'm an accountant. I'm a chef. I'm a restaurateur. I'm a cleaner. You got to be, it's not for the faint-hearted, this profession. I think reality TV has made it look very glossy, very glamorous, but it's like any profession. It's like Premier Footballship. It's like Formula One racing. It's like anything. There's only a very few that make it really to the top of the game. And they're the ones you'll see on TV, are the ones who, you know, the celebrity guys, the Ramses, and that's very few. That's 0.0002% of the industry.
Unfortunately, those are the guys that young people see and they aspire to, and they don't realize the hard work that goes with, you know, getting to a point like that.
No, absolutely. They all want to be TV stars, but they don't want to do the hard work. I mean, for me, you know, I think I'd worked in the profession for 15 years before I took my first head chef position. Now kids will get offered a head chef position after coming out of college after 3 years. It's ridiculous. It really is. But we don't have the volume of people we used to have.
Also, we have a world that, everybody wants instant gratification. I mean, I think that also even happens with your customers, right? They don't want to wait for anymore. They just want everything fresh and served immediately.
No, that's true. It's very, very true. It's really true.
One thing I'm very interested in that you're talking about, in your traditional, I mean, you had a very traditional experience in starting really at the bottom in the restaurant and working yourself up. Were you ever trained in any business, the business side of, or the guys that you work with keep that to themselves? And did that change over time? Do restaurants now actually train the chefs in the business side?
I try to. I think it's very important. I think it's really important that the young guys understand the value of everything and what things cost. And everybody walks into one of our restaurants on a busy night, and often people will say to me, "Oh, you must be coining it because you've got 4 or 5 full restaurants." But our rents are massive. Our VAT bills are massive. Our salary bills are massive. Our gas, our electricity, our water, our refuse, our PAYE. There are so many things that come off that 500 Rand bill or 1,000 Rand bill. There's so much that out of that 1,000 Rand that has to be paid even before you consider looking at profits. I mean, the price of ingredients, the wine list, the license fees, it goes on and on and on. The printing of menus, the soap in the bathrooms, it's endless. Staff uniforms, credit card fees, bank fees, license fees to have your liquor license. It just, everybody thinks restaurants print money, but it's the margins get smaller and smaller and smaller. And now my big fear is when we come out of lockdown and we're supposed to keep social distancing and we're not allowed to have so many people in the restaurant, etc. My restaurants are designed for a certain amount of people. So if it's a 60-seat restaurant, it needs to have 60 people in it to make it a profitable business. You can't have a 60-seat restaurant and be told you can only serve 30 people and you can't serve alcohol after 6 o'clock in the evening. That's not a business model anymore. So I really fear for not just the restaurant industry, the wine industry. I've been watching, obviously we've got restaurants and 3 wineries, and I've got lots of friends in the wine industry, farmers, winemakers, salespeople, etc. And, the restaurant industry, a lot of people depend on us, like the wine industry depend on us. We've got all these different farmers. I've got over 100 suppliers and services that I use that I'm not using at the moment. So it's not just the restaurant industry, it's the knock-on effect of what's going to come out of this if we are limited to what we can do.
Well, it's the whole chain, isn't it? I mean, that's
absolutely, completely. I mean, it's not just the restaurant. In a lot of, I get the impression when I look at Facebook and a lot of social media, I mean, restaurants are getting a huge amount of coverage. But I mean, there's every single industry is taking a knock at the moment. I've got lots of friends in different industries and they're all taking a knock. I think when we come out, we're all going to operate differently, for sure.
Well, there's such a knock-on effect, and eventually it all flows through to the financial industry because the banks, everybody has some kind of a banking facility. So eventually, if this carries on, we will have some kind of a financial crisis. So that is also a bit worrying. But I want to ask you something else. Now that you talked about the actual staff and stuff like that, one of the things I've noticed in South Africa, and is that there's a huge differential between people actually working in a restaurant and the income level and the actual person maybe eating there. And the problem with this is not a lot of times that I found even at 5-star hotels and stuff like that your staff are not always knowledgeable about the food they are serving and stuff like that because they haven't really ever experienced it themselves. How do you bridge that gap?
What you put in, you'll get out. And we put a lot of time and effort into our staff. We really do. It's very important for me that they're trained in product knowledge, in wine lists and everything. I mean, a restaurant isn't just about coming and having a plate of food. A restaurant for me is a complete experience. It's it's a night out for a lot of people. A lot of people use it for business. A lot of people use it for entertainment. A lot of people celebrate. It's an event. It's a night out. I mean, I eat out often, and it's probably the thing I'm missing most. Obviously, my work, but also been able to go to my favorite restaurants. But for me, the restaurant is an experience from the minute you pick up that phone to make the reservation to when you leave and someone says goodbye to you and thank you as you walk out the door. You know, the space is part of the experience, the service is an experience, the food, the ambience, the view, the music, it's the company you're keeping. It's a complete experience. It's not dissimilar to going to a show in the theater. It's a performance.
It's true, and that's what you remember. You remember your experience.
We train our staff to do, to go on stage twice a day, every day, and perform. And we don't always get it right. That's for sure. You just have to read TripAdvisor, and they'll tell you.
That's true.
Yeah, but we try. We really try hard. And the salaries, that's not the best paid job. But like I say to the young chefs, it's not the best paid job, but you're getting some of the best training. And over years, it's like anything: the better you get, the more you'll get. And that's I found. I used to, when I lived in London, basically my money went on my accommodation and my tube fare, and that was it. A couple of packets of cigarettes a week, and you were done. There was no money left. But now I'm in a better financial position. Well, I was up until 4 or 5 weeks ago. But you know what I'm saying? As you progress and you get promoted into a higher position, or you move to another country, or whatever it is, but over time, it can be a very rewarding business.
I have to ask you about wine. What is your favorite?
I'm a very big red wine drinker. In the summer, lots of Pinot, lovely chilled Pinot. And then in the winter, I'm more Cab Sauv, Shiraz, sort of bigger, bolder wines.
You obviously love our South African wines here. How do they compare for you with the rest of the world?
I only drink South African wine. I don't see the point in drinking anything else when I'm in South Africa, to be quite honest. And it's like if I'm in Australia, I don't see the point of drinking anything else, or in France. But I mean, our wines are incredible. They really are. There's just, we're so fortunate. We really are so fortunate to have the wine industry that we do have in this country. And they can be super, super proud of what they produce.
So how important is wine in your restaurant experience?
Massive. I mean, it's huge for us. It's out of all our alcohol sales, it's probably 95% of our sales. And I get amazing feedback when I speak to guests, especially overseas guests. I mean, they're always amazed at the quality, firstly, of the wine here, and value for money. I mean, they're drinking some of the best wines they'll ever drink because it's affordable. They'd never drink wine like this back in their own country at this level, for this price. So yeah, I just hope the government lifts these bans sooner rather than later. I get why they've done it, but I just don't understand who's going to, if we can't start selling wine and alcohol soon, I don't know how we're going to repay all this debt that all these billions and billions are thrown around the place if nobody's generating any income.
Well, that's so, it's such a worry for everyone. I mean, and this coronavirus has forced all of us to rethink our business models. So
no, absolutely.
Do you have any changes in mind that you can do, in your business model?
Yeah, look, we are trying to. I've got an amazing senior team, like I said, with business partners and head chefs and managers, and we speak on a regular basis. via Zoom. And we're all, you know, like I say, these are the brains of our business. I can't operate without them.
Mm-hmm.
And we chat every day for an hour or two, and we bring our accountant into it, and we bring our labor lawyer into it where needed. And I want to come out of this in a positive way and not a negative way. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of slash prices and offer 2 for 1 or whatever to get people back in. That to me doesn't make any financial sense. I'm not going to jeopardize the standard that I've spent years building, and none of my chefs or managers or staff want to do that. When Chef's Warehouse comes back, I want it to be bigger and better, not, oh, remember what it used to be like before the virus. I want it to be as good, if not better. And we've got some exciting stuff that we're going to introduce when we come back, but it's stuff that we didn't have before we went away. So we're trying to turn this into a positive. So we're very busy, for an example, up at Bo Constantia, we are very, very busy redecorating our private dining room, which is a most amazing little spot on the farm in Bo Constantia, overlooking the whole of the valley. So we're we were in the process of doing it just before lockdown, but when we come back, we're going to have a brand new private dining space, because I think people will be looking for private spaces where they don't have to mingle with other guests. So that to me is a positive. We're going to come back with this beautiful new dining room. Mm-hmm. In Maison, up in Franschhoek, we are looking at launching accommodation. So there's an amazing opportunity up there for us for accommodation. So we're going to come back, I would like to think, as a beautiful little boutique hotel with a dining room, the Maison restaurant. So I'm trying to add positives to everything and not negatives. I want it to be exciting. I want to have something new when we come back. I want to give guests and our customers another reason to come and visit and see what we've been doing while we've been obviously closed. We're still working very hard in the background to try and come up with new ideas. But I don't believe the way forward is to slash prices, because you know, we're at a certain price for a reason, because that's what we need to charge to cover our costs, to pay our staff, etc. So to go and slash the prices, you know, after this, the electricity isn't going to be cut by half, the water isn't going to be cut by half, my supplies aren't going to be, you know, dropping their prices by half. So I definitely can't afford to be cutting my prices in my restaurant by half.
I understand. So, what about other revenue streams? I mean, you guys have a pantry and you also have books. Have you thought about, say, delivering from your pantry, home deliveries, or any digital stuff?
We've looked at it, obviously takeout, but you know, again, current situation, it's not financially viable to do takeout. If there's curfew between 8 and 5 in the morning, you know, that means your delivery time is very limited. People aren't allowed to come to your restaurant to pick it up, so it means you've got to pass it on to someone to deliver it, who I think, I've never done delivery, but I think it's around 25-30% of the revenue. So, and then whoever's delivering is going to pick up the tip at the other end. I only think the delivery companies are going to get rich out of that. And, you know, my overheads, if I go in and open one of my restaurants and fire the kitchen up, it's going to cost me the same price to do, let's say we do 10 takeouts in one night. It's going to cost me the same price as it would cost me to do 100 paying customers in my restaurant, as far as utilities. So the overheads just doesn't stack up. I don't, and what am I charging? A quarter of what I would charge in my restaurant because it's takeout. And I'm not geared for it. I don't have the equipment for it. I don't have the packaging for it. I've never done it before. We're not a takeout service. So for me, it's not a solution right now. Maybe when we reopen, we've got a restaurant called Thali, which is an Indian tapas restaurant order. that is the only one that would make any sense to me to do takeaway from. But where people come and pick it up, for me to cook all day and pack all day and give it to someone to deliver and give them 25% for getting on a bike and delivering it to a house doesn't make commercial sense.
Yeah. So, Liam, what is the most important thing that you've learned from your food journey?
Wow. That's a difficult one. I mean, I've had so many amazing experiences, really. I've worked in 20 different countries. I've met probably all my food heroes, if you like. I've been invited to amazing events. I've cooked for amazing people. I've got amazing staff. They're almost family to us. The same when we were in Australia. They were family to us. You know, I think, I really don't know. I've had an amazing journey up to now, and this is part of our journey. This is just going to lead on to something else. You know, we're all going to operate differently. I really don't know. I suppose, go with the flow. We've got to take it day by day.
That's good advice. Go with the flow, because you never know what happens. We've just learned how quickly our world can be upended, right?
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody expected that.
We can't overplan. I mean, we really can't, because we can see now we're not totally in control. One thing I have learned is I'll put more money by next season for, you know, I'll keep more money in the business, because I think a lot of people will come undone for not having enough money in their business. I think we're very lucky this happened when it did to us, because we got 80% of season in before this happened. So a lot of restaurants will be financially in a good position. If this had happened in winter, I think the fallout would be a lot worse. But I've had a fairly, I can't speak for everybody, but we've had a fairly good season up to date until we were closed down with this virus. So
I get the same message from people in the winelands, and like you say, everyone had a good season, and a lot of restaurants, especially in Stellenbosch and these places, actually close in winter time anyway. So at least for a month. So I think
a lot of them do. So yeah, it is. But yeah, I do worry. I worry about the restaurant scene. I really do. There's a lot of young guys out there who've opened, you know, who won't have huge cash flow, etc.
That's for sure.
I worry about those guys. I really do.
So Liam, can you give us your very own wine quote? I've decided you might cheat and give us a food and wine quote if you want to.
I don't really have a wine quote, but I'll tell you what I've learned.
Okay.
Is, again, like I say, just go with the flow. But I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a nice little wine collection at home, but I've started opening all the good stuff, and I'm working backwards now. See, all the stuff that was been aged, like I said, we have got no idea what's around the corner. So I'm going to start drinking. My quote is drink the good stuff.
Drink the good stuff now, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring.
Absolutely, because it'd be a shame to leave this behind.
I'm immediately going to open a bottle or two today, definitely.
So yeah, absolutely. I'm going to cook lunch in an hour or so, and I'll sit. And every day I sit, cook lunch. This is a nice thing. There's some nice things coming out of this. We're actually spending more time at home. I'm actually cooking and sitting down and having lunch every day, and I am opening a good bottle of wine every day. So my advice is start with the oldest and work your way back. By the time you get down to the other stuff, it'll be all aged, hopefully, and we'll all be out of this. So
Liam, if people want to know more about you and your business and want to get hold of you, how do they get hold of you guys?
We've got a website, www.chefswarehouse.co.za. And there's information on all our different businesses, etc., and contact numbers and email addresses, etc.
Okay. Awesome.
And we will be, as soon as we've got an idea of when we're going to be operating, we're going to be all over social media telling everybody that we're open again.
Okay,
and we look forward to having everybody hopefully back in the restaurant.
That's awesome. Liam, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate that you take time. I know
Thanks,
you have
Will.
a busy life, and yeah, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. Take care.
You too.
Cheers.
Thank you for supporting our show. If you would like to get more exposure for your business, please have a look at our sponsorship options. Thanks again for supporting About the Winelands. Please follow us on YouTube and on our social media channels. All details and links are in the description.